Have you ever felt a magnetic pull towards something that is so strong that you know that you have to follow it through, that you have to see where it takes you? And it doesn't always have to make sense to other people. It might not even make sense to you why you have to follow these things through. Why you have this calling towards something, this pull to go somewhere or to connect with somebody or to just do things that are completely random and out of the blue. And sometimes the decisions that we make don't even make sense. I've made decisions in my life that I know on a common sense standpoint, it makes no sense at all. But I felt in the moment a deeper sense of that I need to experience something from this situation, even if it's not necessarily always the smartest choice. Sometimes we put ourselves in situations just to go through that experience. And I believe that in life, we are all presented with the opportunities that will lead us to something bigger, to lead us to something greater than ourselves. It is through these opportunities that allow for us to connect with different aspects of ourselves, different aspects of our soul, so that we can bring in these parts. And I believe this comes in the form, oftentimes, as a pilgrimage. It comes in the form of us having to take a trip somewhere, whether it's internally or externally, for us to change our environment in some way that shifts how we perceive everything around us. Because oftentimes, all we truly need is just a change of perspective. And the best way to do that is by changing our environment, changing our everyday patterns, and aligning ourselves in a way that allows for us to connect with deeper aspects of ourselves. The best way to do that is to put ourselves in new situations and new opportunities and new places and new people that allow us to open up in a way that we haven't before, in a way that we haven't been programmed and conditioned to in the past. I recently took a trip to Egypt, and that was my soul pilgrimage. That was the calling that I got at the beginning of the year last year. I felt this calling to go to Egypt, and it was so strong that I'd never felt anything like that in my life. I don't even know how to describe it, but it felt like it was a matter of life and death, that I have to do this because it's my rite of passage into the life that I want to live and the person that I want to become. And I believe that we are all on that path, and we have to make certain choices in order for us to bring in the opportunities and to bring in the ability to step into that. Because a lot of times we might not have the necessary character development, we might not have the resources, or we might not have the knowledge to understand how to step into this version of ourselves that we're trying to step into. But we go through life, we gain these experiences, and we bring these back to ourselves, and it's like we bring back a piece of our soul. And when we do that, it allows us the opportunity to deepen within ourselves, to integrate these different parts back into ourselves. And when we engage in different cultures and different situations, it creates this opportunity for us to not only create new neural pathways in our brain so that we can open up in ways that we haven't before, but also energetically by going to different places and opening ourselves up to different energies. We connect with different parts of ourselves that we didn't have access to before. Because everybody out here has a piece of the puzzle. We all have something to give back to the world. We all have a piece of the puzzle. Well, not just one piece, but multiple pieces, because we all carry different perspectives. We all have different experiences, different life experiences that have molded us into who we are. And when we take this soul pilgrimage, it's like the initiation into the next phase of our lives, the next phase of who we are stepping into and who we wish to become. Hi, I'm Cody, and I help people to activate their divine consciousness codes that will ignite their heart ablaze and open the door to limitless possibilities. So I recently got back from Egypt, and it was one of the most transformational experiences of my life, because I had not only got to connect with the energy of the pyramids, but I got to reconnect with parts of myself that I feel I had roots there. It was like parts of my soul was connected to Egypt, and I'd had dreams and visions of myself in past lives, and it was an incredible experience to reemerge and resubmerge myself into that culture, even though obviously things have changed since several thousands of years ago. It still carries that energy, and just opening myself up to the ley lines and the grids that lay in Egypt and that are connected to the pyramids, just opening myself up and being in that space in and of itself was incredibly transformative. But I got to go to the pyramids. I got to meditate in the King's Chamber. I got to meditate pretty much all the tombs I went into. I meditated. I was just really trying to feel the energy and connect and imagine the bringing light down into our consciousness. I was imagining this sun above my head, and I would pull the light into my body, and I would feel that light wash through my body, and I would feel every cell in my body, and I would try to feel as deeply as I could into my organs and all of my limbs and ligaments, and just really feel that energy and fill my body up with that light to where there's no dark places, dark spots in my body, and just my entire body is illuminated with that light. And then I would breathe out, and I would imagine my DNA spiraling and the light attaching to the DNA and just unlocking and opening different deeper parts of my DNA, and projecting that out through the pyramids so that the entire collective can experience that as well. And I was putting the energy of unconditional love into that and really feeling into that and aligning my body. I had met some meditation teachers while I was there, and they really helped to connect me to that energy and to connect me to how to align myself in that space, both within myself, and they also had some oils that I would use and I would put in the corners of the room that I was in, so that it would basically clear out all of the energies that don't serve the highest good of unconditional love. And I would put it in the pyramids in the rooms, and I would just really feel that energy in my body. And like I said, I would bring the light energy into my body, and I would fill up all the dark spaces. I would fill every cell in my body as deeply as I could. And then when I would breathe out, I would imagine the light wrapping around my DNA and unlocking various parts, dormant parts of my DNA. So I did that, and I connected with the oils. I connected with the culture and the people, and I made a friend there that was he was an incredible person. He really helped keep me safe and guide me, and he was able to, like, his cousin knew a lot of the parts there, so he was able to get me into parts around the pyramids as well that were normally locked. And yeah, it was an incredible experience. And I just it was a completely different way of life. It's hard to fathom, because they had horse and buggies. They had these vehicles that were called tuk-tuk, I believe is how you say it. They had like donkeys. They had, I mean, unfortunately, they did have a lot of stray cats and dogs, and I felt so bad. I tried to feed as many of them as I could from the food that I would have from the whenever I would go out to eat, whatever food I would bring back, and I would try to give it to the strays. But there was also even like stray dogs around the pyramids even. But it was definitely a different way of life. They were going, like the shops and everything stayed open like 24 hours a day pretty much. A lot of the shops, they would have people come in and they would leave, and obviously they would just rotate, because the guy that I was hanging out with, that I was friends with, the shop that he would work at, they would stay open 24 hours because they would have somebody come in from like 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. Then they would rotate. So it was wild because I was right in the heart of the city, right by the pyramids, and it was at night it was hard for me to settle down because in my hotel it was like the energy outside was so hustle and bustle, and just everybody was going 24 hours. It was interesting though because you could walk down alleyways, and I was like walking down alleyways at 10 o'clock at night talking to the kids walking around. Kids would walk around by themselves because it was just it's so busy out there that it's hard for things to happen besides petty thievery. Besides that, from what I understand, the crime is basically non-existent. I did get in a bit of a sketchy situation, but I quickly got out of it and didn't get myself in that situation again. But yeah, I felt very safe even walking around in the alleyways. The teachers that I met, and I was able to do some grid work there and to really connect with the land and to be able to spread that energy out to the world and create that ripple effect. And everybody that I connected with and talked to, I tried to pass that energy on. So it was, I definitely recommend going to Egypt, but even more so, I recommend going to where your heart takes you. And you will know when the time is right, because I knew that I needed to go somewhere. I knew that I needed to make this trip way before I made the trip, way before I even knew that I was going to Egypt. Like years, at least 2, 3, 4 years back, I was talking about doing this, and I just didn't know where or when it would happen. But I knew that as long as I continued to put myself to move forward in that direction, continue to unlock deeper aspects of myself, that I would be able to eventually connect with a vision, and I would connect with where I actually needed to go, and I would know when the time was right. And that's when I got the calling last year. So go where your heart takes you, and even just making pilgrimages and adventures around the city, around different parks and trails that you might have, or just going to different areas. I want to go to Serpent Mound here in Ohio. That's a few hours away, but I'd like to check that out. There's all kinds of parks and things that I want to go, and even going in your backyard, even just making everyday life an adventure in whatever way you can. And that's truly where the magic is. So I encourage you to get out and explore and to follow where your heart takes you, because it's always going to lead you where you need to go. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, my friends. And I'm so grateful to be on this pilgrimage with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace, love, namaste.
You have one mother behind you and two wives. Gentlemen,